please?
Christopher said hi.
Good evening. This is April. Yes, it's April 8th, isn't it? April 8th. Meeting at the town hall and the conference room. And conservation committee. And we are all present that are here. David, myself, and Chris. Okay, it's now 6:31. Okay, first thing on the agenda is review of meeting minutes from 3/18/24. Has everybody read them?
Yep.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes. I'll second that.
Also, second.
How do you vote, Dave?
Aye.
How do you vote, George?
Aye.
How do you vote, Christoph? Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, our next one.
So, George, I'll take the minutes from you, and then this is for you all to look at for the first one.
Okay. 23 Henshaw Road.
So the first item is a COC request for 23 Henshaw Road. That is order of conditions number 304-0270 for Timothy LaJoy. A site visit occurred on March 21st with members and applicant. Pictures of that visit are provided. You want to pass those down to
I didn't go to that.
Christoph, because he
Yes.
was, no, you didn't go
Oh,
there.
you didn't go.
Yep.
You're the only one that's gonna sign.
That was the site walk. That was just the site walk.
Oh, that's just.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that long cabin. It's on.
But if you want, there's a bunch of those. Pass one down to Christoph so he can see.
This is one of the around it. Okay.
So this house was built in 2006.
This is one of these, okay. Okay.
And he's selling the property, and part of the closing is he needs a COC.
All right.
We went, and the stream that he, like the culvert for the road, was still working great. The replication was present, and the area that was removed showed no signs of wetland vegetation. Give Christoph a second to review.
All right. Okay. David, can I get a?
Is he all set? I'm all set, yeah. You're all set? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I just need to get the. What I do with it. Okay.
Do I hear a motion to issue the COC request?
I'll make a motion to,
Do the COC. For 23 Henshaw Road.
I'll make a motion to accept the CLC for 23 Henshaw Road.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Hearing none. How do you vote, Dave?
Aye.
How do you vote, George?
Aye.
How do you vote, Christoph?
Aye.
That passes at
COC is?
Yep.
Okay.
34. So I'm gonna pass this down for you guys to sign. And I'll take the backup back.
You can take this one out.
Yep. Thank you very much.
We'll sign it and then we'll. Close the meeting, close that meeting. You have to be blue.
Does it have to be blue? No, it doesn't have to be blue.
Blue, black.
No, blue or black.
I see my name for it.
You can take
That
that.
goes back to you.
Yeah, and here's all your information for the next one.
Yeah,
The next one is a COC request for 11 Patriots Road, 304-0370 and 304-0371. I've given you all the backup, but I'm gonna read the
Okay.
letter, the request letter that we received. It's from Thomas Guffason, who is the attorney for Jameson Van Dyke, who says, enclosed, please find a request for certificate of compliance from Jameson Van Dyke for an order of conditions, DEP file number 304-0370 and 0371, recorded with the Worcester Registry of Deeds, book 66818, page 175. No work was ever done, and it is Mr. Van Dyke's belief that no work needs to be done at 11 Patriots Road, Assessor's Parcel 6128, pursuant to this order of conditions. Megan L. Alarud, the attorney for the current buyer of this historic house at 11 Patriots Road, is asking Mr. Van Dyke to obtain a certificate of compliance to clear title to this property. Please let me know if you need anything else from Mr. Van Dyke or his engineer. So I've provided you all the backup. There's the request. There's a map, so you can see the two parcels underneath the one on the right closest to Christoph. Yep, keep going.
Yep.
See it? And one more, Christoph.
The map.
All right, there's the map.
Yeah.
Okay, so originally the mother lot for this property was all 11 Patriots Road.
That's.
Yeah.
That's the Ames's house in the
Correct.
middle.
There was no orders of conditions issued to 11 Patriots Road, only an enforcement order.
Right.
Which is provided in front of you under Mr. Andrews's hand.
Yep.
Because they had a forest cutting permit in which they dipped into the wetlands. So also in front of you, you have a COC that is already issued for 304-0371, which is number 15 Patriots Road, issued by yourselves already. And there's a COC for 304-0370, which is 109 Gardner Road, which was issued from the state. So I've provided to you already COCs that have been issued.
So we really don't have to issue anything.
You can make that determination. I'm just providing you all the backup. They want, according to that letter,
Megan wants, or is there anyone representing this case here?
I mean, I worked on it. I don't know if I can add anything more to it.
you are welcome to.
Uh,
Yeah,
The attorneys asked me to write them a letter about work being done on 11. I said, no, there was no filing done on 11. It was filings done on the one to the left of it, I don't know what the number
15.
is. And then the one on the other side of the
109.
the swamp.
We agree.
So I'm not sure I think the bad address got put in there, or that was the only address at the time, I
Yep.
guess, initially, maybe. I
Yep.
don't know.
Or she's saying to her lawyer, get a COC and I'll pay you to do it. And he says, sure.
Yeah, it says,
So he bills her. for it.
asking Mr. Van Dyke to obtain a COC to clear title to this property.
Yeah, can we just send him these two?
I have.
Yeah, he's already got these.
He's recorded them at the Worcester Registry of Deeds, and no site walk can be performed there because he doesn't own it.
The attorney for this woman named Megan?
No, Mr. Van Dyke doesn't own it. He's the applicant.
But the person who wants the COC,
I have no contact information from her. This is from Thomas Guffason, who is the attorney for Jameson Van Dyke, who built all the houses on Patriots Road. He doesn't own it anymore. And there's already COCs issued. One of them, this commission issued for number 15,
Yeah.
and one of them the state issued.
and you've already given the attorney these two copies?
I've given him copies of those, but those were filed at the Worcester Registry of Deeds by Jameson Van Dyke.
Yeah, so they've
So-
already been filed.
I'm not sure. I mean, you can choose to issue another COC, but I'm not sure how that works. There's already two that are issued.
Well, whereas we already issued him one.
And I don't know if you would issue him one for 11 Patriots Road when he never had an application there other than an enforcement order.
Yeah, he only got this because he was cutting too much. He would get called by the
The forester.
forester. That's this from here.
So that's all the backup information I have.
So
can we just tell him that we don't know what he's asking for? If he wants to come in and explain it to us, he can get on.
He's asking for another certificate of compliance for 304, 0370, and 0371 for his letter.
We've already given him one and they're recorded at the Worcester Registry of Deeds.
Correct, sir.
So no, we can't do it twice.
No.
But if he wants to explain further what he's.
Yeah.
If there's some angle that we're not seeing, then he's welcome to come in and explain it, right? Or am
I also,
mistaken?
no, I also want you to, consider that one of the properties we have no jurisdiction on. It was this was before you were on the board, but the property on Patriots Road came before this commission, before you were on it, and it was denied by this commission. It was too wet. They didn't want the house there. The applicant, submitted an appeal to the state, and the state ran the order of conditions, and the state issued the
COC.
the
And this is
COC.
3040370. That's the one the state issued.
The state issued,
COC
George can
form.
tell you it's right in front of you.
here.
Yeah.
That's 3040370.
So, you
So
know,
that's totally out of our hands.
I would
Yep.
be very informed about making a COC for a state issued COC that we had nothing to do with that property. Mr. Goss,
That particular order,
yeah,
I think the commission did issue it, but the neighbor who sold his house the next month, he was the one that appealed the order that the board had issued. And that's why it went to the state.
and I went to the state. Thank you,
Yeah, because he didn't want the house built there at all.
yeah. Thank you.
That's why the state took it over, so. But we never went down to see it, so, because once they built the
We-
house.
At the time, we never went to the Gardner Road property, the 109. No, we didn't.
Right.
And regarding the 11 Patriots Road, which is the old Ames house, the historic house that still stands there, there's no documents that I have
No, we have no.
that
no
list
doubt.
11 Patriots Road, only the enforcement order that I gave you.
Yeah.
Those two have different properties. It has 15 Patriots Road and 109 Gardner Road. So looks like a Worcester Registry of Deeds, filing mishap. I'm not, that's not my area of expertise.
Hmm.
But they did file a appropriate request for a certificate of compliance for both of those numbers. That's the request that's in front of you. So you can look at the, Christoph, if you want to read. I don't have a copy of it in front of me,
Yeah.
but at the bottom, the attorney wrote like a note. Right, oh, nope, go back, right at the bottom. See, it has a bunch of asterisks.
The certificate of compliance is not intended to release and or apply to the ongoing conditions affecting 109 Gardner Road proposed lot 7. Set forth in a certificate of compliance for superseding order of conditions. Department file number 3040370 recorded with the Worcester District Registry of Deeds in book 702, page 93. So it's already been issued and already been registered. I can't see why we should have to give them another one. I can't. Never run into this problem before. What do you think, Dave?
No. Shouldn't make a second one. It's already been done.
So we just do nothing, or we take a vote to say no?
You would take a motion and then vote.
Okay.
So do I hear a motion to issue the COC request?
No.
Okay, do I hear a motion to not issue the COC request?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so,
I'll second not the issue.
okay. And seconded by George, any discussion?
Yeah, the discussion is if there's someone who wants to come in and explain what they're trying to get at, we're happy to listen to it, but this doesn't make any sense the way it's being presented right now.
on on a motion to not issue the COC request, how do you vote, Dave?
Aye.
How do you vote, George?
Thanks.
How do you vote, Christoph? So the COC is not issued. 6:45. I will inform, yeah, Thusly.
Well, it's already been, some sent to the registry otherwise by other people. We shouldn't issue another one. Okay, that was number 4. Okay. Are we ready?
Yep.
Okay, number 4 is an RDA Route 68 near Pond Road, the catch basin outfall pipe repair. The request is to determine whether the activities depicted on the plans are subject to the jurisdiction of the Wetlands Protection Act and its regulations. And we did go see that, right? Yeah.
So to open up the meeting, I will read the legal notice.
Yep.
Templeton Conservation Commission Route 68 outfall pipe repair request for determination of applicability. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, that a public hearing will be held on a request for determination of applicability filed by the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, Highway Division, District 2. Project location is the shoulder embankment of Route 68 near Pond Road in Baldwinville, Templeton. Description of project is catch basin outfall pipe repair within the buffer zone of a wetland. Request is to determine whether the activities depicted on the plans are subject to the Wetlands Protection Act and its regulations. The hearing will be held on April 8th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at Templeton Town Hall. Any person wishing to be heard concerning the above application should appear at the time and place indicated above. The request for determination of applicability is available for public review at the Development Services Office, Room 3, 160 Patriots Road, during regular office hours. The RDA is also available upon request from J. Case at templetonma.gov, George Andrews, Chair of Templeton Conservation Commission. And with us this evening via Zoom, we have Billy Lee and Maxfield Hannafy. I'm sorry, Max, I butchered your last name, from Mass DOT, and they are present with us via Zoom to represent this request.
Thank you, Jessica.
welcome.
Hello, commission members. Do you want me to do a presentation now or open it up to public comment first?
I would start with the presentation, please.
Sounds good. Let me just share my screen. Oh, whoever's hosting this, can you allow me screen sharing?
Just did.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Can everybody see my PowerPoint screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So as Jessica introduced, this is a maintenance repair at in Templeton on Route 68 near Pond Road. This is a map showing the project location and its proximity to Pond Road, just off of Route 68, showing the approximate work location. So the project need is there's a shoulder embankment off the northbound lane of Route 68, south of Pond Road. You can see in this photo on the right, there's a small sinkhole in the sidewalk that has developed above the outfall pipe. That outfall pipe is a 12-inch diameter corrugated metal pipe serving as the outfall for just that catch basin. There is an outfall on each side of the roadway, and while it does show in Mass Mapper that there's a hydrologic connection, we did confirm in the field that those catch basins are simply collecting roadway drainage, so there's no stream and no perennial flow within the pipe. So here are some photos of the existing conditions. These photos were taken on February 22nd of this year. As you can see on the left, there is the outfall pipe exiting the embankment. And on the right, it is the existing corroded outfall pipe with the back of the catch basin is kind of visible. So you can see that this pipe does not go to the other side of the road or carry a stream. I did just want to mention that during our site visit with the commission last week, the observed conditions were a very high higher than usual water level. So this is kind of the typical condition that maintenance would be looking for before initiating work at this site. So making sure that the water is clearly away from the outfall pipe, so that we can go in and create as little disturbance as possible. So the work activities would be prior to work, erosion and sedimentation controls will be used around the area of disturbance to prevent sediment from traveling into nearby resource areas. The work will require the removal of the existing granite curb in the roadway, the HMA sidewalk, and a section of the guardrail. The contractor will excavate and remove the old corrugated metal pipe and replace with 16 linear feet of 12-inch diameter reinforced concrete pipe. And then the 12-inch reinforced concrete flared end with a 5 by 7 foot stone splash pad will be installed at the pipe discharge. That splash pad is comprised of a layer of geotextile fabric and then riprap, and that's to avoid any scour potential and erosion in the future. The area will be backfilled, loamed, and seeded, and then the area of disturbance will be backfilled, loamed, and seeded, and then jute mesh will be installed for stabilization. And the HMA sidewalk and guardrail will be replaced in kind with, when the pipe is replaced. When the pipe replacement is complete, sorry. So the resource area impacts: the pipe originates at the catch basin and travels 16 feet underneath the road and sidewalk until it reaches the outfall. The outfall is located within the buffer zone of bordering vegetated wetlands as seen on the attached map. And the proposed work will have no permanent impacts to the wetland itself, and erosion sedimentation controls will ensure any temporary impacts are minimized. And again, they'll wait until there's low water levels to go in there. So they're not working under flooded conditions that we kind of observed at our meeting in the field last week. So this is just showing the maps and the approximate work location. So as you can see, there's wetlands on either side of the roadway, but the work itself and that outfall pipe are really on the edge and more in the buffer zone rather than the wetland itself. So regulatory compliance: work performed in buffer that is considered a minor activity, provided that it is done in a manner so as to reduce the potential for any adverse impacts to the resource area during construction, and with post-construction measures implemented to stabilize any disturbed areas. Work will only begin after erosion and sediment controls are in place, and then final backfilling will be stabilized by jute mesh and plantings. And so that is pretty much what I have prepared presentation-wise. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to take them.
My question was, do you guys have a timeline for this?
The timeline is probably, once we get approvals, we'll get a firmer timeline from maintenance. If you wanted to add in the special conditions to notify the Conservation Commission, like 48 hours in advance, we can definitely notify you guys when we plan to do work. It's certainly urgent because of that sinkhole in the sidewalk. We don't really want that. Right now it's covered by a cone, which is sufficient, but that's obviously a danger to pedestrians on the sidewalk. So we do want to get this done soon, but it's really going to be dictated by those water levels and making sure the water's far away from the outfall pipe when we're performing the work.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
In the field, we discussed that this is a utility maintenance project. You can confirm that there's no further impervious area. It's
Yes.
going to simply be a fix
And it's exempt from the Wetland Protection Act.
because it's a
paved,
utility.
right?
It's a utility maintenance.
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we
Provide a negative determination.
yeah, correct.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Just
Hearing-
let us know that 48 hours.
Yes, I can put it in the conditions. Yep. Hearing no discussion on motion to provide the RDA a negative determination. How do you vote, Dave?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Christoph?
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you, Maxine.
All right. So I will put the determination together and I will reach out to you, Billy.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I appreciate your guys' time this evening.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So I'll put that in the conditions. Give me 1 second, George. Get that back.
That's no problem.
I'm gonna lose my spot. Got a lot of papers here. All right, George, I'm ready.
Okay, number 5 is a minor modification request for 198 Patriots Road, 304-0386, location change of proposed above-ground propane storage tank. Now,
Right, so can I go and talk with you,
there you go.
Mr. Andrews, for a second? So I just want to put these out in front so that when you're getting this. So this is the plan that was already accepted with the order of conditions, and this is the plan that is requested.
Right.
Okay. So, So-
Half is. What it is.
yeah, so to open this up, I'm gonna read the request letter. And with us this evening, we have Chris York. He's the project manager from GPI, who wrote it. So, Chris, if it's okay, can I read your letter to get everybody caught up?
Sure, go for it.
All right. So it says, on behalf of our client, Energy North Group, we are requesting a minor modification request for the previously approved notice of intent at 198 Patriots Road. The previous plan showed the proposed above-ground propane storage tank set 16 feet from the westerly property line. After the notice was approved on October 2023, the applicant filed for a permit with the state fire marshal. The fire marshal rejected the permit application on the grounds that the tanks must be located at least 50 feet from a buildable lot. Even though the adjacent lot is owned by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and is part of the Route 2 right-of-way, and thus is not a buildable lot, the fire marshal still would not approve the location of the tanks. So the updated site plan shows the new location of the proposed storage tanks along the easterly edge of the existing pavement. The tanks and enclosure will be located entirely within the limits of the existing pavement, resulting in no increase in impervious area. The previously approved plan had a buffer zone disturbance of 14,550 square feet. The updated plan has a buffer zone disturbance of only 5,300 square feet, which, as mentioned above, is entirely within the limits of the existing pavement. The existing fenced-in area at the rear of the site will continue to be utilized as storage for empty propane tanks. So I know that pretty much covers almost all of it, Chris, but if you have anything else you would like to add, I gave the commission members the original accepted plans and the proposed plans so they can see where that shift was. So if you want to
Okay.
add and talk freely, they can see what you're talking about.
Oh, this is where we okayed it.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna share my screen, but I guess there's no need to since you have.
Well,
plenty-
well,
plenty of-
actually, could you still, because, you know, this is being
Sure.
recorded for residents and everything too. That would be
Sure.
great.
Yep,
please.
sure, yep. Okay, so I just drew a red square on the plan showing where the previously approved location was. Not a whole lot to add to it. Like I said, it's entirely within the existing limit to pavement. So there's no new impervious. Ultimately, there'll be a reduction in impervious because the area within the fenced in part here will be, crushed stone ultimately underneath the tanks. So we're proposing sediment control along the rear of the fenced in area to protect the wetlands. It's the same design as before. 8 foot tall chain link fence for protection, the concrete pad. The same 2 30,000 square foot storage tanks. And that's about it. Like I said, we're going to keep the area out back open. That's just going to use that as the storage area for empty propane tanks. So that'll stay the same. That fenced in area will remain. I guess other than that, I can take any questions from the board if you have any.
Chris, so I was lucky enough to get to talk to the Templeton fire chief who,
Yep.
paralleled all this discussion saying that he did not approve these plans. He couldn't approve these plans. It was too close. I'm wondering, do you have approval from the fire marshal for the new plans, but you also need our approval? Like, I want to make sure that this doesn't
We-
happen again for
we-
the second plans, maybe?
We do not have approval from the fire marshal yet. We were coming before you first.
Okay,
As long as we were, the big issue is being, within 50 feet of the property line. We are outside of the 50 feet now, so we anticipate no issues with the fire marshal at this
Okay.
point. So we just wanted to come before you first just to get your approval.
and it goes to the town fire chief, to the state fire marshal, and that.
Yes, yep.
Or-
So yeah, our understanding was the state fire marshal wouldn't allow it, and then because he wouldn't allow it, the town fire department also said no.
Very good. I'm good. Any questions from the board for Mr. York?
Can you see that? No?
Over here is where they're parking their own cars right now, so they're gonna have to move their cars around the corner.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I heard about cars.
Well,
Isn't it where they park the cars right now?
is where you're moving it to, is where they're parking their cars right now.
There's just like a bunch of like.
There are
staff
some
utility
painted parking stripe
Yeah.
spaces out here. Yes, they would have to relocate those.
Yeah,
I think that there's plenty of
I
room
happened
out
to go over
there.
there while I was
It's a lot.
inside today.
Yeah, it's a lot, it's significant
it-
less
it's
impervious
actually-
area.
It's actually cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's longer, but it's cleaner.
It's significantly less disturbance.
A lot less impact.
I make the motion that we accept the minor modification request on 198 Patriots Road.
Hearing a motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second the motion.
Do I have any further discussion? Hearing none on a motion to approve the minor modifications request and the plans as submitted with any conditions. How do you vote, Dave?
Aye.
How do you vote, George? How do you vote, Krista? Chris, you are approved?
All right, thank you so much. Hopefully
I
we won't be
have-
back in front of you again.
I have a summary letter of this that I will email you tomorrow so that you would at
Okay.
least have like a tangible copy of the decision rendered.
Okay, sounds good. I appreciate it.
All right?
Thanks. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
You too.
Thanks.
All right. I don't need any signatures for you guys off that one. I have like a draft letter of him,
Yep.
like
Yep.
we did for previous minor modifications requests that says, you know,
Okay. Hello, number 6, are we ready?
yes, I am ready.
We're
Thank
all
you
ready.
for asking.
Number 6. This is a continuous for 381 Baldwinville Road, Town of Templeton Highway. Building submitted by GRAZ Engineering on behalf of William Matusewicz for the installation of 1,437 feet of main sewer line through 2 parcels and 2 wetland crossings. Proposed alteration is to set up impact inland resource areas and bordered vegetated wetlands.
Before anything, I would like to read a disclosure from this. I just want to read this disclosure. George Andrews, Chair of the Templeton Conservation Commission, submitted to the Templeton Select Board an ethics disclosure. Although Mr. Andrews is an abutter of the Templeton DPW property at 381 Baldwinville Road, the Select Board voted at a public meeting held on March 27th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at the Templeton Town Hall Conference Room, Channel 8 and TCTV on YouTube, that the financial interest is not so substantial as to be deemed likely to affect the integrity of the chair's services to the town. This gives Mr. Andrews the opportunity to vote as a Conservation Commission member at the NOI hearing for 381 Baldwinville Road, proposed main sewer line. Thank you. In case anybody had any questions why Mr. Andrews is sitting here. Let me give you guys this information, which was received today. You can take one and pass it. I just I printed out, the NOI file number from, the portal.
Yep.
That had the comments, because I'm sure
Okay.
you're gonna talk about that, so they have something to look at.
Yep.
And with us this evening, we have, Paul Grosowitz from GRAZ Engineering. And in the audience, we have his applicant, William Matusewicz.
I've got two revised sets of plans for you. One. We added a couple of details. Actually, we had one detail and some notes, the replication. One of the things we did, you'll see in DEP's comments, we have 400 square feet of permanent wetlands loss. And they wanted to see it replicated, so we have shown an area that's got 930 square feet of replication to make up for the wetlands. And that's located over in this area right here.
Can I ask a question? So for the public,
Yes.
you just mentioned the area of replication. Can you tell us on whose property is that? Is that on Mr. Matusewicz's or on the town?
Yeah, I put it
Okay.
on Bill's property
Okay.
because I didn't want to be making wetlands on the town property.
Okay.
And
That's important to know. Thank you.
that would be cleaner that way.
Thank you.
So, in summary, DEP's comments were, first regarding the wetlands replication, which we've done on the plan. Update the Form 3. I updated the NOI form itself and emailed it to you. I didn't have a chance. We just got these comments in the last week. I sent an email to Tom.
Rubula.
Yeah, and I don't know, it must have got lost in the shuffle because we never heard from him after we sent the revised plans in January. So
And also in
he
fairness,
thought there was still a check outstanding, which I had sent him a copy of the cash check
And then he
back in
found it.
January.
Yeah.
So basically, we got these the end of last week, which is good. It's better than getting them tomorrow.
and just so you know, this commission just got the notes this morning.
Okay.
So they're absorbing it all.
Yeah.
As well.
So yeah, I'm just, and I'll go through this basically, 4 items. One was the replication. The other one was revising the Form 3, which I did an email that I haven't given you. I wanted to ask you if you wanted the whole 30 pages again, or just the 2 pages that got the numbers changed.
Got updated.
Okay.
Please, that would be great.
The next item down, it's, was providing a detail for the replication.
For the ongoing maintenance.
Well, right above that, he talks about the replication. We added the detail on sheet 2 with notes and criteria for the replication itself.
Yep.
And the ongoing monitoring, we put a note on the sheet 2 right down at kind of the bottom right, saying that the easement, the saplings on an annual basis, and again, it's going to be really up to the town, but there's going to need to be maintenance, at least to the extent of cutting the saplings. I'm not worried about tree roots or anything else, but you know, if you have to go out there and do anything, you don't want to be sawing down big trees if you can just do maintenance on little saplings that pop up every year. And that was the 4th item. That I do go on to say that that Mass DEP recommends that the commission refrain from issuing an order conditions until such time as they are able to review whether the future project will be serviced. The sewer main under this application is permittable, or alternatively, condition the order such that this project may not be built until such time as the future project has received all applicable permits. I did add a note back in January to that effect on the second sheet that nothing's going to happen here until he's got everything in place, because they work together. And
Who's they working together?
well, the actual project that the sewer is gonna service. So we went to the selectmen over a period of, I don't know, a year maybe. And it was felt that it would be beneficial, and I probably do agree with it now, to treat these as two separate entities. The going through the town's property here and our project itself. You know, we could have done it all in one fell swoop, but if Bill can obtain this easement, then that kind of,
From the town of Templeton.
yeah, so he's got to go through a process to get this easement approved. He's got to purchase the easement.
Yeah.
It's got to go to town vote and all of that. So want to make sure that this could happen before we get too far down the road with the actual project on his property.
That's where I'm at on this. My opinion hasn't changed since the last time we came here, which is that I don't see how we can approve anything if the town hasn't agreed to allowing this easement on town property. You're applying for Mr. Matusewicz
Yep.
on his behalf to maybe do a project on his land by crossing over the town land, but we have nobody here from the town that's saying that can or cannot happen.
Well, the town has gone so far as to sign the notice of intent application.
Mm,
So they were in favor of us. I would say they suggested us moving forward with this part of it now.
So the select board gave permission for the Conservation Commission to hear it. Whether the town is in favor of it would have to be determined at fall town meeting
Mm.
with a public vote
but we
to allow an easement.
We can't determine anything. We can hear it, but how can we determine it if
Yeah, so.
if the landowner is not represented?
So to reread that sentence again that Mr. Grasowich said, which was Mass DEP recommends that the commission refrain from issuing an order of conditions until such time as they are able to review whether the future project is permittable. In the town of Templeton, that means if a subdivision is approved by the planning board. The future project is the subdivision, and if it's permittable, will be determined by the planning board. The planning board of Templeton has not received a subdivision plan yet.
No, they haven't.
They haven't. But
they
that's how I
And they
read that.
can't until we iron this easement out.
So they can't receive a subdivision plan until you iron out this easement, but the commission is recommended not to make a decision until the planning board permits a subdivision according to that.
Well, there's the alternative. He goes on to say, or
Yep.
Alternatively,
Yep.
condition the order such that the project may not be built until such time as the future project has received all applicable permits.
But wouldn't an applicable permit for this current project mean an easement given by the
Yes.
town of Templeton?
No, he's referring to wetland permits. So we may need a 401 depending on
I saw that at the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on the volume, the square footage that's involved. And, we're definitely gonna need another
And
notice of
file-
intent and
the
order of
subdivision.
conditions for the project itself. Now, we've looked at a few different scenarios in there, and we have one that's actually the original, there was a preliminary done by, I think it was Whitman and Bingham, and I think they were crossing like two wetlands. We've got a layout which doesn't cross any wetlands, so which will be great, but we have to go through the planning board, and we're gonna have to get a couple of waivers from the planning board to make that happen. So the whole idea here was that the selectmen were kind of saying the opposite thing you're saying, Christoph. They're saying, well, before we decide on this, shouldn't you go see conservation? And I kind of told them that we could do it all later. And they kind of said, well, you should go see conservation now, go through that. So I said, we can go through that process, and we had them, involved in the notice of intent, and that's why we're here.
Right.
So, I mean, to be honest with you,
And now Mass DEP is saying the opposite.
well, they're saying either or, yeah, and yeah, they're giving you an option of either don't do it now, or if you do it now, condition it. And there's gonna be the time, we are gonna have a difference in time. If this thing takes another year, This, you know, then this will have a shorter time frame than the, which is
I
fine.
think what's interesting is that this sewer pipe doesn't exist without the subdivision, right? Like nobody's putting in a sewer pipe to nowhere.
No.
You know what I mean? So this won't happen unless the subdivision gets approved. You know, so.
This won't happen, and also this won't happen
Yeah.
unless he gets the easement.
Yeah, and a lot of the language from Mass DEP really targets that with this project and the future project. Like they would have really liked to see it together so that they could determine like the total impact instead of like compartmentalizing them
Right.
both. And I don't want to speak for them, but I kind of feel that way too. It would have been nice to see the whole project together and the whole impact instead of being like, let's vote on a sewer pipe, but we don't know kind of like what it's going to.
Right.
Because that might cease to exist if a subdivision doesn't get approved. So then the commission may approve a sewer pipe to nowhere. It's just interesting, the verbiage that they use with
Certainly,
the current plan and the future
He's not
plan.
gonna put a sewer pipe in unless he's got
Yeah,
a
yeah.
project to bring it to.
Yeah, fair.
Mm.
But
Okay.
what the Templeton Select Board wants and what Mass DEP is recommending does not sound completely congruent right now.
Right.
I think that this is the first that this has ever been done, and so there's not like a set path of what should be done, and I think we're all kind of trying to figure it out together. Mr. Matusewicz wants to say something. Is that okay? Everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
I might say,
Yes.
if we design the subdivision now and the sewer is not approved, then we gotta go back and redesign the whole subdivision because it will be done with septics or whatever. So you're double designing the subdivision.
You're saying if the sewer line doesn't get approved, then you'd have to do a subdivision plan with septic systems, and so.
All over.
Both.
Because the rules for sewage and septic on a single house lot are different.
Are different.
I mean,
Yeah.
I understand that, but you're trying to plan a project across town land. And then you're trying to get us to tell you whether or not that's a good idea to go across town land. That's not really what we do. We can give you an opinion of this. My opinion of this is that once Mass
Mass
know,
DEP.
DEP, once all of their concerns are met, my personal opinion is then, sure, we could go along with it. But in terms of how you're moving forward with your project, that's not what we do. It's not, all we can do is comment on the conservation aspect of it. You've got to get the town on board to let you cross over this land.
well, we presently have a signed letter from the highway superintendent that it's not gonna damage the route going across town land. We have a document from the sewer commissioners which approves the situation. They've seen the prints at their meeting. And
That's another thing. We've never heard from the sewer department, or we've never heard from
Let me see if I can.
anybody.
So,
else.
Mr. Matusewicz was just talking about, a letter he received from the sewer department, from the sewer superintendent that says the Templeton Sewer Commission reviewed the proposed sewer plans for the Brooks Farm definitive subdivision at their meeting held on January 9th, 2023. The sewer commissioners have no problems with the development tying into town sewer as shown on the proposed plans, as the WWTP can handle the additional flow. The responsibility of the sewer lines are undecided until the final plans are completed. And from the DPW director, this memo is to inform you that I have met with Bill Matusewicz and from GRAZ Engineering regarding the sewer line running through the DPW yard. This is for the Brooks Road project. After meeting with Bill and Paul where the proposed sewer line would run, it would not interfere with any future plans on my behalf. I will leave this up to the town administrator and the select board to have the final say. So they did provide letters that in their positions, that it is possible but an easement is determined at fall town meeting or spring town meeting in the form of a town vote. So,
I guess I would have thought that if the select board, like you said, Mr. Graz, they sent you over here and they were in that sense in support of it. I mean, in some ways, they're almost part of the application or the applicant themselves. I guess it would be nice to get an opinion from them on what they want us to do.
If I may say, the town administrator said that he could not sign the application for the wetland determination unless we went to the front, unless we went to you first. That he would not put it on the agenda for the select. So
Well, then we
it's
should
kind
just,
of like bouncing the ball back
Then-
and forth.
maybe if they're looking for an opinion, we should give an opinion and then let them take it from there. Cause it's,
Well, if I may say, the town attorney listed a list of things we have to do. So we're trying to do them in that sequence. And that's, I mean, what else can we do?
right, I understand this, like I said, hasn't happened often, and so I don't think we know the path to get to what they want to do. This is the Conservation Commission that's voting on a single application for a sewer line into a subdivision that doesn't exist. And Mass DEP recommends refraining issuing from an order of condition until such time as they're able to review whether the future project is permittable, or condition the order that it can't be built until the future project has received all applicable permits. Both of those options requires a subdivision to go to the town Templeton Planning Board for approval. Both of those options that Mass DEP, which oversees us, is recommending. So it's kind of tough what you want to do. Do you want to follow Mass DEP? Do you want to follow the select board and the app? I don't know.
Well, my concern is we still do not have a DEP number.
We do have a DEP number. That's what's on your paper. Go to
Oh.
the front page.
Oh, Did they finally send it?
Yes, they did.
That came
that's
with his
what's on
notes right there.
That's why I said, we just got it this morning, so we're just all absorbing this.
I just saw it this morning
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, I went on the portal
Oh.
this morning.
All three.
Most of the day revising the plans there.
Mr. Matusewicz, you're welcome to come up and sit next to GRAZ if you could, please, so that you're in the microphone.
What I'd like to say is,
Please, yeah.
I don't believe the Conservation Commission should be making a decision on whether the project goes through or not. I mean, all I'm asking for is what it's gonna impact wetlands and if it's gonna be detrimental to the highway
Right.
department or whatever.
Well, still have not done a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Which we asked for. That's another issue.
I mean, it's just
It
so
seems like
hard
they're
to
holding us off
determine-
because they don't want us to see how much wetland is out there.
It's so hard to determine the impact
Yes.
when we're looking at like half of it, so. I mean,
Well, and you gotta
it's
realize,
just hard because, and a lot of the comments and the verbiage from Mass CEP is saying with this project and the future project, and they keep hammering
the
you know,
ag feature,
what the, the total loss will be and what the, total wetland dredge fill will be. And so it's so hard to really narrow in on just this without knowing what it's going to.
when you said you had conditions from town council, do we have access to that information? Or suggestions from town council?
Well, you have the minutes of the meeting, I assume, that we attended.
A select board meeting?
Was it a select board meeting? Is that what we're recalling?
Yeah, we've met with him
Yeah,
a few times. I can't tell you the dates. We'd have to go back and dig them up.
The
Okay.
town council suggested an order of events.
I have that document at home, yeah.
Okay. The only interaction I had with town council was the last meeting that we had about this topic where you all requested further information and that I disseminated to the both of you. Which was legally, you are allowed to review this application because the town administrator is a representative of the select board who gave him permission to sign it. So you are allowed to,
Review it as if it was any other application?
you are allowed to. Because the town administrator signed it.
Oh, all right, well, I'm sorry, that was my question, I must have missed that.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we're allowed to review it legally as if it was any other application, then how would we review this as if it was any other application?
We would review Mass DEP's comments strongly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, Paul did point out a few things that he addressed, right? You talked about the, replication, right?
Mhm.
You talked about, revising the, submitted materials.
Yep.
You talked about the ongoing maintenance, the sapling cutting and stuff like that. And you just provided the commission with updated, plans.
No, you still wanna, go look at the site too.
Yeah, I mean.
I mean, unless you decide tonight that
But like.
you'd rather take,
You-
the option of not issuing the, that's.
Um,
Then there's no need to go look at the site now. You can look at it later, next time with,
Yeah,
next year or whatever that happens to be.
I just want to say again that, they just got the plans right now and we
Right.
just got this information this morning.
No,
so-
we don't expect
Yeah, so,
anything.
I mean, they have every right to make a decision if they want to, but like, please understand and be reasonable that like, this is just a lot of information
No,
to,
I realize.
to review if they don't
No,
want
we're
to make a
not,
decision
we're
tonight.
not expecting anything to close tonight. It's just that.
Yeah.
If you did pick his option on the, refrain from issuing the order, then we just, we go
Understood.
away and come back.
Understood.
Whenever.
Understood. I've done a lot of talking, so somebody else can do a lot of talking.
That seems to
No,
be the
no.
biggest question to answer tonight.
The trouble with all the, I don't know how much, ledge is out your way, but right behind my house is a lot of ledge. It all goes out back that way. But,
Well, we're keeping
What-
it, the nice thing about this sewer is it's shallow. I mean, it's, 4 feet of cover. So,
yes,
Can you explain to the public the line that says the proposed project appears to exceed 100 cubic yards in total wetland dredge fill and therefore requires a 401 WQC? I have never seen a 401 WQC.
yeah, we
What
seem
that
to be
is?
running into those more lately.
What are they asking for? What's that?
The 401 water quality certification, it's another application.
oh, yeah, that's another thing
It
too.
started with the federal 401 to 404. The state has been actually requiring 401 applications on a lot of projects where if you're doing a subdivision and you have, say you have 2 wetlands crossings. They want a deed restriction on every lot in that subdivision saying, this even goes for A&R lots. A deed restriction saying that no other wetlands encroachments may be allowed.
Because there's already one there. We don't have
Yeah,
to make it
And
further. Wow.
so in the cases where
Hmm.
lots, especially with A&Rs, but lots get sold, and now the original owner applicant can't put a restriction on it. They're saying, okay, then you have to file a 401 water quality certification. And basically,
Interesting.
it's just another process, but it goes through the DEP, so the commission doesn't have to handle it. It goes to the DEP. And it's essentially, they can put more restrictions,
Okay.
and comment and review on the project,
Well, thank you.
that aspect.
I appreciate that education. Thank you. That's probably why I've never seen one.
So
Not to me.
let me propose a potential path forward here, if you guys at least listen to me. Which is the second thing that the state recommends here is to condition the order such that the project may not be built until such time as the future project has received all applicable permits. That seems like the more reasonable way to proceed because we don't have to, we don't have to approve it right now and we don't have to condition it right now. We could continue the meeting so that we could do a site walkthrough, get some more information, but when we do vote on it, if we conditioned it that.
It says condition the order, Christoph.
Mhm,
So you'd be issuing him an order of conditions.
mhm. I'm not,
which is approving the project.
right, but we don't have to do that tonight.
Oh, no.
Yes,
We could continue this hearing and do a site walkthrough.
Mhm.
And then if we choose to go this path, we would,
then you, after, okay,
then we would vote to approve, but it would have the major condition that it has passed all the rest of the applicable permits, which would put it back in the hand of the select board, the planning board. To
Yeah, I was
approve the
gonna-
Subdivision.
that's what I was
Bring the
exactly gonna ask you.
subdivision-
What do you mean by all applicable permits? What are you
It-
gonna be looking for?
Well, what they're saying is that way, we're not approving a sewer line to nowhere. We're approving it only if there's a place for it to go to someday later, which is not up to us, which is kind of my original point. That's up to a couple other boards in town, including the planning board. So we would be leaning into making a decision if town council says we can make a decision based on the material we have as if it was any other decision. If it was any other, we would still want to do a site walkthrough. We'd want to make sure we see what's going on. We
Mhm.
might have some orders of, some conditions to put on it. And one of them would be, sure, we'll tell you our opinion and we'll vote on that opinion. But one of the major conditions is obviously the whole subdivision needs to get approved. And then that would then circle back around and then we'd see what the environmental or the wetland impact of the whole project would be when it came back around. That would seem like at least some path forward for you guys who are trying to see, what the next steps are. And it still gives us an opportunity to walk the site, see what's really going on, let Mr. Graz show us.
George? you're
I'll
okay?
second that.
But that's not a motion. I was
Oh,
just. I was just-
Well, no.
that was
Well,
just-
I agree. I don't think we should do that until we find out exactly what the other permitting is involved and
All right, so.
and we also have a
We need
selectmen
site-
meeting
We need
coming
a
up. I
site
mean,
walk before the next meeting. And we need to know what all applicable permits.
Right.
Entails.
Correct.
So far,
And if there was anything that would be a vote tonight, it would be just to continue.
just to
this hearing.
continue the hearing,
What's your opinion, Dave?
site walk. What is all applicable permits?
I would just move to the next month.
Okay. Dave makes a motion to continue this topic to the May 2024 meeting. Do I hear a second?
see, that'll be after the town meeting. That'll be after the election.
I got wrong. Do I hear a second to move this topic to the May 2024 meeting? In the meantime, we will take a site walk and we will determine what is meant by all applicable permits.
I'll make a second. I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Is there anything that you guys want to comment about that, or is that?
No, that's fine. Just let me know when you want to go out there and I'll go out there with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, not this week. It's supposed to rain Wednesday and Thursday and Friday.
I do want to
Thursday and Friday.
recommend that you bring some muck boots because the only way to get to most of that is
I know.
crossing the
And they also,
crossing the wetland and it's well,
they
can't do that in
also have
sneakers.
salamanders out there too, you know.
Fun. All right, so I have a motion to continue this topic to the May 2024 meeting and a second. How do you vote, Dave?
All right,
How do you vote, George?
Aye.
How do you vote, Christoph?
You know what
Here.
date that would be? Is that the third
It's the 20
Monday?
It's the 20th.
20th.
Yep. So we'll move the whole topic to the May meeting. In the meantime, why don't you and I try to find some, like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning. We like to do 9
Okay.
AM something. As dry as it possibly can be.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good?
Yep.
And then they'll give, all of us some more time to absorb Mass DEP's comments. Plus the commission can look at your new submission plan.
Yep.
And then we can try to find some type of path.
All right,
All right?
sounds good.
Thank you both. I don't have anything for you gentlemen to sign, so, You can keep your Mass DEP comments if you want them, and I'll take the plans so you guys can have them in a safe spot.
Yeah.
A beautiful fold, Dave. Best.
No, I'm double.
Thanks, good night.
Thank you
Good night.
both.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you.
Hold it in title block will be right to the bottom.
Yep. I like that you did that. Thank you.
Yes, I will keep this.
Yeah, you can keep the DEP comments because I have them as well. So that way you all have a copy of that. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Not done yet. So let's talk about. Yeah.
I haven't looked yet, no. Agent updates.
Yep, hold on.
Yeah. Nothing.
I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. I'm doing the best I can.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so, Route 2 RDA for resurfacing by MassDOT.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So just take a look at this map and pass it on. So this is,
Something else.
yeah, so this is an RDA that was given a negative determination back in 2022. So I'm gonna read the request from Mass DOT. It says, from the district environmental section, it says, I'm reaching out on behalf of District 2 Environmental to provide information about additional work taking place on a section of Route 202 that was excluded from an earlier project. This additional work is proposed to be part of contract number C-12707, and we are hoping it can be permitted under the existing RDA for the project. The additional work consists of resurfacing and follows the same scope that was submitted under the previously submitted RDA. The existing RDA for the town of Templeton has been provided, and a negative determination was issued by the Conservation Commission on February 15th, 2022. So about 2 years ago.
22.
Yeah.
All right, they had
Yep,
3
so it's
years.
still valid. It was
Still
2 years
valid,
ago. Yep.
yeah. Okay.
He has attached a wetlands map that you're looking at that
Yep.
shows the nearby resource areas as well as the location limits of the new proposed work. So the Mass DOT is offering to repave more of our roads at no additional
And they're
cost
saying
and under
202,
an active RDA.
and they're saying 202 in the paperwork
Yep.
there.
Yes, because it's Route 2 and 202.
I
So
know.
it's a little bit further.
I know.
So if this is something that you guys are interested in,
I make a
a
motion,
motion to approve
I
the
make a-
additional work.
I make a motion to approve, add that to the other one.
Okay, I have awesome, and I have a second. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, how do you vote on a motion to approve the additional work under the RDA? How do you vote, Dave?
Aye.
How do you vote, George?
Aye.
How do you vote, Christoph?
Aye.
Okay.
Very good.
That's good.
That was
Yeah.
good. Do I have any chair or member comments? Thank you. And I have nothing for you to sign on that one either. The motion is sufficient. We'll pass it to them.
Now, are they good for another
I think our
2 years or 3
RDAs,
years?
RDAs are 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
So if it was issued in 2022, they've
Okay.
got a whole nother year and they're almost at the tail end of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But, I mean, free
Let 'em-
paving of
let
our
'em do it.
roads under an active RDA, I think that's great.
That's good.
Any chair comments, Mr. Andrews?
No, not right now.
Okay, any member comments, Christoph?
Nope.
Any member comments, Steve?
No.
No.
Right.
Our next meeting will be Monday, May 20th at 6:30 PM, where we will so far have a NOI continuance for the sewer pipe proposed project. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
All in favor?
All in favor,
Aye.
signify by saying aye.